Hello, and welcome back to the Am I Successful Yet podcast. Today I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Chilu, and Chilu is an artist from Sydney, and her work is unbelievable. I actually just reached out to her on Instagram and, totally fangirled and told her how great her art was. And then said, hey, do you want to be on my podcast? Because I'd love to get, I need to get different perspectives from different people and just stop talking to lawyers. And so I have found that, lots of people in professional services actually love doing artistic, creative things. And I really want to understand the similarities between professional services and art and people that are into creative things as their role. And she just seems like a really cool human. So I'm really excited to share this episode with you. Let's go. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Oh my goodness, we've just been chatting off camera for like 20 minutes. Yeah. So sorry, everybody that just missed out on all that goodness. I have introed you earlier, so we can jump straight into it. As you are aware, well, you're aware now because we've had a chat earlier, this podcast is all about pivots and I guess defining success and how that definition changes, pivots change, all of those things. And I wanted to interview you because I'm a bit of a fangirl and I watch your Instagram and that beautiful balloon piece over your shoulder. One day I'm going to have one of those on my wall because I am obsessed. So can you give us a little bit of background about you, I think, and what you think your biggest pivot to date has been?
God, I'm so old. I mean, where do we start?
Someone asked me that yesterday, like, how many pivots do you want to hear? Because I've done a lot.
Yeah. Jesus. Well, I've had many. Yeah, exactly. There's been 10 million pivots, and I suppose we're talking about success, right?
Yeah.
And I suppose when I was younger, when choosing what I would do as a career, I actually was influenced by trying to make my parents proud. That's how I defined success. And so probably made the worst pivot ever and studied law. Also did that with creative arts. So, did the creative arts because I desperately needed to. And then did the law to say, you know what, if it all falls apart, I have a backup plan.
I can be a lawyer when I grow up. Don't worry.
Yeah, it'll be all right. I will be able to feed myself. And so then I started doing, I was a legal researcher for various places. And we did talk about this off camera. It was soul destroying for me personally. So I don't know how you do what you do.
Depends on the day.
Yeah, exactly. And so it got to the point where while I was finishing up the law degree, I was also the web designer for the uni that I was at.
Oh,
so
that's so good. You're like, I'm still going to be creative. I can still do this.
Yes, exactly. So I ended up saying to my mum and dad, okay, I'm going to try and find a job in the creative world and see how I go. And so I got a job as a web designer.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, the design field, I was a graphic designer for maybe about 15 years or so. And
wow.
It was really bizarre because for some reason I went into, this tells you how old I am, but I went into do you remember when there were CD stores?
Yes.
Yes, and I was at HMV.
HMV, that definitely
and I was
doesn't
there,
exist anymore.
You know how you just were walking through, and I picked up a CD of this jazz singer called Vince Jones. I don't even know if you know who he is, but he's Australian.
Okay.
And he had done an album, and for some reason I thought, you know what? I would love to do a CD for this person. It was just the most random thing. Cut to about 15 years later, and I'm doing CD cover designs for Universal Classics and Jazz. And I get Vince Jones. Like I had not told anybody. I had not told anybody, and I got the CD cover for Vince Jones, and I thought, holy moly, I don't know if I can swear on here, but I was just,
that's fine.
Yeah. That was a massive moment. And then once I did that, so I was doing, so by the end of it, I was freelancing, and I suppose there was a pivot there where I was working in a design agency, and I'm just not the type of person to party all night and stuff like that. So the culture was just not my scene. So then,
Does it
so
make
I
it
got,
it makes it hard to connect with people as well, right? If that's how
yeah.
they're bonding and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, well, I don't like the lack of control for me personally
Yeah.
because I was just getting a bit too friendly with people that I would not normally be friendly with.
You're like, I don't want to be
So,
friends. No.
yeah. So there was a conscious decision to go, you know what, this is not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So in the design world, I gathered all these clients because, you know, they all disliked that I was kind to them because the whole design world can be a little bit, you're not cool enough, you know, which is not my scene. I think everybody deserves a place, and I think
Yeah.
everybody deserves to be celebrated. So yeah, it was a bit of a soulless world for me too, because it's creative, but it's also, how would you describe it? It's about selling.
Yeah, it's pretty
Selling.
cutthroat, I imagine, that whole
Yeah, well,
world, right?
you're meeting people and you're expressing what they are trying to sell in a visual way. And so
Yeah.
for me, I was thinking, is this all there is? And once I did the Vince Jones cover, I was thinking, you know what? I think I'm done.
Yeah. And the universe is like giving you a sign. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. Maybe, yeah, exactly. And so I'd always wanted to do my own thing. And I'd just gotten married to the most amazing person who is just like his dreamboat, still a dreamboat 20 years later.
hi, husband.
He is just like, he's my person. And then he basically, sorry for my throat, he just basically said to me, okay, you know what? We just got married. We're living together. You don't need to pay rent. Why don't you just try and do that dream before we think about even having kids? Why don't you, let's think about what you want to do so that you don't ever think about, okay, what I wish, you know? And so we made sure we traveled. And then I was thinking, what do I do? Do I sell t-shirts? Do I sell tea towels? Do I sell stickers? I mean, that's what every person that's creative, they're considering
I
that,
love
right?
stickers. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with stickers myself too.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, I have allergies. So this is so random, but I thought I'm in New York and I'm in this bakery called Baby Cakes, and I'm eating gluten-free, dairy-free, which is what I can't eat. And it's like a cupcake shop, and it's like all these cookies and treats, and I could choose whatever I wanted. And I was thinking, there's nothing like this in Australia. This was pre all of, you know, it being everywhere.
Pre-dietary requirements being cool.
Yeah. And so I was like in heaven, and I thought, oh my God. And then I went to this ice cream shop and I thought, oh my God, I can have soft serve. This is insane.
Yeah.
So
I don't eat dairy either. So yeah, bakeries and ice cream are
oh my God.
when you find something, you're like, oh my God, this is literally the best day of my life. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, you know, it was, you know, that traditional ice cream sundae with banana split. And it was, you know, you could choose the flavors, and I could eat the whole thing. And I was just thinking, my God, I wish there was something like this in Australia, and it just didn't exist. So I thought to myself, okay, you know what? I said to my hubby, you know, this is a niche. Nobody's doing this in Australia. What if I created my own bakery? And he's like, yeah, go for it. And so I started recipe testing, and I called it Miss Lulu's Dessert Parlor. And
so cute.
Yeah, it was, and so everybody knew me as Miss Lulu. And the coolest thing about it was meeting the little kids that couldn't eat. And so I did so many birthday cakes and wedding cakes. And
so you've gone from doing law and arts.
Yeah.
What is it called? Visual arts?
Creative arts law, yep.
Creative arts law. Now and you did a little bit of law, and now you're a baker.
Graphic design,
web design, baker. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
and we're still not done yet.
Yeah, I know. Well, this just tells you how old I am, my friend.
No, but it just shows the pivots and the still ability to continue in your life.
Yeah.
Like nothing happened. Like you didn't explode because you changed careers.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And that's the thing. It's life to me is just a series of different adventures along the way. And if you want to do something, just bloody well go and try it. If
yeah.
you,
Like,
you
what's the
know,
worst that could happen?
well, you could be homeless, but
I mean, minor detail.
I mean, yeah, and
Temporarily homeless.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
But that's the thing is like build up some wealth in where you're going and work on the dream and then launch into it. Because I was very careful to keep working whilst building that
yeah.
baking dream. But eventually it was sort of like the baking overtook the graphic design and my clients were not happy because they were so
Yeah.
reliant on me. But
Yeah.
I had to say, sorry, I got to let you guys go because this baking thing is unmanageable. And so it got to the point where corporate people were ordering from me and it was just me and it was
Yeah.
getting
Wow.
out of hand. And then I got pregnant
Okay.
and with my first son. And the key moment of pivoting was I had to do an engagement party and I arrived and it was a 6-level apartment building, but no lift. And I'm like
Oh my
7
goodness.
months heavily pregnant. And I had these boxes up to my eyeballs and the guy who was the groom came down. He opened the door and he said, "It's up the top." And he didn't offer, "I'm
No.
pregnant." Yeah, he didn't offer to, and this is the thing now I think, my God, I hope you treat your wife better than this.
Yes.
And I walked up those stairs and afterwards I was bleeding. And so I thought,
Oh my
you know
God.
what? My husband said, "You're done. This is, you can pick it
It's
up
literally
again,
giving
but
me goosebumps. That's
this is
terrible.
not safe." Yeah, yeah, yeah. But everything is a learning experience.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
but
like the
still,
whole thing.
that's
Yeah, not
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, not good. Well, I hope that if they have kids, he was helpful. But yeah, it was really great though because I tried after that to just get couriers to deliver my stuff, but they would always turn up damaged. And you'd spend
Mhm.
hours on decorating
Yeah.
somebody's 40th birthday cake and they'd call up and say, "We're devastated.
Oh my
It's
God.
completely been arrived ruined." And
Oh,
so I thought,
no.
okay, I have to step back. And so I said, "I'll be back." But that's the thing, the cleaning and the washing of the dishes and
Yeah.
the baking, the hours, and then you only get a small amount of money out of
Yeah, for
it.
what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, food industry, that was amazing because I'll never think, "Oh, gosh, I wish I was a part of that industry." I mean, for me, I would either do something very different and have staff and all that kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
it's hard
But it's
work.
hard to
And
keep staff in that industry as well, like, because it's
exactly.
a
And
transient kind of workforce that
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But also it was sort of like I could see the hours ahead of me. You cannot have a child and run a business like this. You
Yeah.
either expand and not have the kids, or you have the kid and like, I brought this person into the world. I am not going to neglect them because
Yeah.
they did not choose to be here. And so this is my job, is to
Yeah. I
be a
love that. Yeah,
parent.
that's beautiful.
So I stepped away and like I was inspired by my mother. She had an incredible career after we went to school. Like she ended up at the end of her career, she was style director of Hermes Australia, which
Oh,
was,
wow.
yeah,
That's huge.
traveling to Paris 4 times a year and
Oh my
choosing
goodness.
all
Go
the
mom. That's amazing.
so incredibly proud of her. Um, but she took all the years off. Like she basically was with us until I was in school. And so I
Yeah.
thought, you know what? I'm going to be the same person. I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna be mum.
no,
Yeah.
couldn't sustain being just a mum. Like it was so hard because it's very draining because you've got this little person that's relying on you.
Mm.
And that's when my first panic attacks arrived because I felt I had no
Yeah.
reserves left. I had nothing to draw on for strength
Yeah.
because it was all focused on this little human. And so yeah, that's when my husband said, maybe I just said, I'm not happy. I feel so exhausted and I'm
Yeah.
crying and I'm having panic attacks when he's sick. And I just said, I need something else. And so that's when I did I think I started doing a course at an art school, which was just one couple of hours for one day a week.
Just
And then
something
I got pregnant with
for
the
you.
second one. Pardon?
Something for you.
Yeah, something for me
Yeah.
that allowed me to be creative, but I could still take care of this little person. Yeah, lots of pivots in this story. Sorry.
I love it. No, it's so good. And I think that this is the whole purpose of this, of talking to people, is that the
Yeah.
reality is pivots happen and we go
Yeah.
through crazy stuff and
Yeah.
you're still here. And we're
Yes.
not even partway through your story yet. There's some really
I'm
cool
getting
things you told me off recording that we need to get to as well.
well, we're getting there slowly, but yeah. So then I get pregnant with the second one by accident, and it was we were thrilled because I mean he's most amazing dad. A little bit stressful thinking, oh my goodness, how do we handle a second
Yeah.
human being? And then I'm 20 weeks and we do that. There's a scan to sort of check
Yeah.
that
Check
everything's
what's going
okay.
on.
And I'm in there and the lady is saying to me that your little person is just being very, very cheeky, hard to see. And I just cannot see a part of their body. I'm not quite sure. And so I'm just thinking, that's weird. And then
Yeah, just wriggling. You're thinking nothing.
I was thinking, oh, that's okay, cheeky. All right. Sounds great. And then
You're like, I guess
and
that's
then
cute. I mean,
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah. And then she says to me, okay, I think we might need to get you seen by someone else. And I'm thinking, all right, who? And she says, maybe just a person that specializes in the heart because I just can't quite see something. And I was thinking, okay. And it did not occur to me at
How
that
have we
point.
gone
And
from
then,
cheeky to seeing someone for heart?
yeah. And then she hands me a brochure about, this ultrasound person that specializes in heart issues. And I was thinking, okay, don't panic. It's going to
Everything.
be
Yeah.
all right. And then I go to this lady and, we're still thinking everything's going to be all right. And so my husband's in a board meeting. He's heading there. It's a stressful day for him. And then I get seen and the woman has zero, bedside manner. And she goes, yeah, it definitely has a hole in his heart. By then we knew he was a boy. He definitely has a hole in his heart. And I went, okay, shit.
Okay.
And then
Is this a fixable hole? How do we?
yeah. The worst thing was then she says to me, so do you think you'll terminate? And I was thinking,
Wow.
whoa, lady, you just threw that diagnosis at me. Where in your brain do you think that's appropriate to say,
Oh
will
my
you
goodness.
terminate? Right? And so I get out of there and she just puts me in this room and I just burst into tears. And thank God for this other woman who worked there came in and she said, oh, I love you. All right. She hugged me and I said, he's got a hole in his heart. And she hugged me and she said, you know what? The technology nowadays is so amazing. It's going to be all right. She said, have you called anyone? And I'm like, no, I haven't called anybody. I was like, biggest mess known to man. And then so I called my husband and he said he couldn't quite shift focus because he was like, oh my God, I need to present in this board meeting.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, my wife is breaking down. And so anyway, he eventually comes because I needed to get tests and stuff like that. And then it was a big wait to see the cardiologist. And then we found out that he had this thing called tetralogy of Fallot, which is 4 different heart defects. And yeah. And 40 years ago, there was no cure for it. And so thank God there is a cure for it now.
Wow.
And it's basically surgery, open heart surgery. And so we knew while he was in my tummy that we were in for a bit of a ride once he arrived.
And you were only 20 weeks at this point.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it was all about, and it's incredible. So Westmead Children's Hospital, you start going there and they know that it's going to be hell. So you're given a counselor, you get monitored constantly. And that counselor was incredible because she told me, look, what kind of structure do you have? Do you have support? And I said, we're really independent people, so we'll be fine. My hubby will stay home and look after my eldest, and I'll be in hospital with the little one. And she said, look, you need somebody because there will be days when I guarantee you both of you will want to be here. And as much as you love your eldest one, you need someone. So it was like so essential. They've put all these things in place to guide these families through what is going to be disastrous in your life.
Yeah.
And so we're preparing, and then this beautiful little nugget arrives. And so they said to us, okay, we can only see 2/3 of what's going to happen because you're supporting the other third. So I prepped my son with a book, and I just said, your little brother's coming. He just needs a little Band-Aid on his heart and we'll get through it. It's going to be okay. But then he arrives, and so we were at a different hospital because the expectation was he was going to be okay. So then he arrives and he looks really great. So his oxygen saturation which I was hyper focused on, was really great. There was a pediatrician there who said he's looking really fantastic. Send him to special care. So we went to special care, and we were just like in heaven, just thinking, oh my God, this beautiful little thing is ours. I just, whatever happens, we'll be there for him. And then 48 hours in, we have the cardiologist come and do an echo, which is like a ultrasound on the heart. And he says, okay, well, we're going to have to take a little different path because, so basically you have valves connected to your lungs, right? And so one of the valves that was connected to his left lung was disconnected. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So so we have these valves that are connected that close within 48 hours of birth. And so he had this valve that was supporting him, but it was like about to close at any second. So,
oh my goodness.
So our cardiologist for him is super, he's not dramatic. So he told us, and we're thinking, okay, we're crying a little bit, but it's not too bad. And so we're staying we just moved to a room, and we're thinking, this is awesome. We're about to go home. But then I walk into the special care, and the nurses are like running around. And I was thinking, what's going on? What's going on? And then they said, where's your baby? Where's your baby? And I said, oh, he's in the room. And she said, bring it back. Oh my God, we need to get you on an ambulance right now. And because of what had happened to him, I had to have a cesarean because, and so I'm not meant to leave the hospital. But I said, there is no way I need to be with him. I am not going to stay here. I'm sorry, but you cannot force me to stay here. And thank God I have the most amazing obstetrician. Oh God, I literally love this man. Dr. Burton, I love you. I know you'll never hear this, but I love you. He very kindly gave me permission to go. And so I'm in the ambulance with my little boy. Oh my God, I'm trying really hard not to cry.
You're doing so well to get through
I'm just living through the trauma again.
Yeah.
And so I'm in the ambulance with one of the nurses from special care who is like, she's my sister. Pa, I love you. I know you won't hear this as well, but I love this woman. And I was shivering and shaking while I was holding him. And the thing was, she just said, it's a miracle, Chilu. His oxygen sats are at 100 when you hold him. And my legs were shaking, and she put her arm on my legs because her job was to look after him, in case he crashed. And she put her arms on my legs, and they were so warm, and my legs stopped shaking. And she said to me, it's going to be okay. And these are the people that change your life, right?
Yeah. Those moments.
She saw me falling, and she just said, I've got you, my love. And I'm like, I will love this woman so much with all my heart. And then I didn't expect to cry about this. Sorry.
No.
And then we get to NICU, and that's when you watch the worst stuff on earth, but you also witness these incredible people save your kid's life. Like
Yeah.
you're the mum, you're the parent, so you
So he's
actually
going into open heart surgery at this point.
not immediately
Not
because what
immediately.
they it's amazing what they had to give him medicine to keep the valves open. So it was just, you're in this NICU is a very full on place because there's these tiny beds, but you see all these little babies connected, all these 10 trillion wires connected to these poor little things. And one of those poor little things was mine.
Yeah.
I watched them panicking, but it's very quiet in there because their objective is babies first, and
Yeah.
too much noise is too stressful for these little things. So
Yeah, okay.
it's very quiet, but they're rushing around, and you have to start
Organized
watching.
chaos.
Yeah, it was incredible just watching them save him and putting the needles in and everything. That's when you start thinking, oh my God, this is shit, because it is torture to watch your child have needles, all the cannulas and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You just
And
want to
he's
take
so
one.
little at this point.
Yeah. And so we stayed in there for a little bit because obviously that was like in the middle of the night and we needed to be assessed and everything. Then then it was pretty quickly they did the surgery, and thankfully, because he was too small to do the open hearts, like the actual fix for the tetralogy of
Yeah.
Fallot, they put a stent in because
Okay.
their objective is to make them big enough because their heart is like a little almond
Yeah, I
size.
was gonna
Can you
say
imagine?
tiny, right? At that point.
Impossible. Yeah,
Yeah.
impossible. So, they put a stent in, and so thankfully that wasn't too invasive. That was by a catheter, I think, but it's still very hard on their body.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause what did
and
he
so
weigh? He would have been, like, what, a couple of kilo? Like, a few
yeah,
kilos?
3.6 or something like that. So yeah,
Wowzers.
yeah. But it was yeah. So I was, I think, on one of those days when he was recovering, because I think we were in there for. I don't know, maybe 2 weeks or something like that. And then we would move back to the other hospital for about like a couple of months then. And then it was just in and out of hospital. But yeah, I was sitting there and I was holding him and I was chatting because one nurse is allotted to each child. And I could see the magic of these beds because they were sustaining life essentially. And
Yeah.
I said to the nurse that was looking after him, I said, so how much are one of these beds? And she said $55,000.
Wow.
And stupid me in my head clicks and goes, okay, you know what? By the end of my life, I'm going to give that amount of money to the hospital to say thank you because right now these people have saved him.
Yeah.
And I watched them save other kids in the time that we were there. And they're such humble people. They're not, it would be incredibly hard to look after kids, I think, because it's
Yeah.
heartbreaking. It is
And kids in
heartbreaking.
super vulnerable positions like that, that's a whole
Yeah.
nother level.
Yeah, exactly. So there's the next major pivot is, okay, I'm going to do this. And then in my heart, like I put it just in the back of my mind, just, my whole
Yeah.
purpose was, okay,
Planting the
let's focus.
seed. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So let's focus on getting the family through this hell.
Yeah.
And we got through it with, thank God we met some amazing people along the way. And God, that like two of the nurses that looked after him are his godparents. I
Wow.
still see them. We still see them because they are so invested in us. It's just
That's
like
so beautiful.
you make these connections to these angels. I mean, they, what
Like,
they do.
literally, right? Like, literally angels. Like,
Yeah.
what they're doing is
Yes.
unbelievable.
Yeah. They really, it is just such a privilege to watch people like that work. And then, when he did the next thing that even pushed me further was when he did the major surgery and just watching, so we dropped him off at 7 a.m. and that was torture handing him over. And they said, oh, it might take about maybe 5 hours. And then it's like, we hear nothing and we hear nothing. And it's like 5 o'clock. So 7 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock, we hear
Oh my
nothing.
goodness.
We didn't want to be a pain, but we finally called and said, what's happening? Is he
Yeah.
okay? Like, what's happening? And it was terrible because during that time, I could feel when they stopped his heart, like I could feel a punch. It was like someone had punched me in my gut
Oh
and
my
I
God.
almost collapsed on the floor. I could feel it and the walls went dark and I just had to push it away. And I said, no, he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. But they need to stop his heart at some point,
Yeah,
to,
to reconnect
yeah,
and do what they need to
yeah,
do.
yeah, exactly. So
My
then,
goodness.
yeah. So then that they were working and then he comes out and then we're watching our little man. He can't stop bleeding and they've got like, pipes going out of his tummy. So quite graphic stuff that you have to witness as a parent. And they're trying to tap all the blood out and he can't stop. So then all the staff that like, they don't take breaks. That whole time that they're with your child, they're not going to have lunch. They're working on saving their life. This is how incredible these people are. And then they all came back. The whole team came back to save him again. And then they were working on him until 1:30 in the morning. Yeah, this teaches you a whole other level of sacrifice, right? Of these
Yeah.
people coming back.
And
And
gratitude, like extreme gratitude
yes,
that there is
yeah,
people like this that
exactly.
exist.
Exactly. And then so they saved him again. And then I go into, at that stage, it was PICU, so it's like the pediatric intensive care. And the same people are there at 6 in the morning saving other kids. And you look at that and you think, whoa, okay, I'm really going to try my hardest to say thank you to these people because
Yeah.
since then, I do not forget on any day that
No,
this has
and
happened.
he is 7 years old now, I think you said earlier.
And a miracle. It's the
Yeah.
greatest. Like I probably hug him way too much, but we all do. Like we all do. My eldest son, thank God, doesn't show any animosity to him, has only shown love. And our whole little unit is just grateful that we get to experience normality because some people don't get that
Yeah.
privilege. So
Yeah.
I witness people who are there every day, and it's a struggle every day and they still smile at you and they still keep going. But I think the fact that I can sit here with you now is such
And
a
have this
privilege.
conversation, right? 7
Yeah,
years later. But
exactly.
still invoke the emotion and the memory and the trauma of
Yeah.
those moments. Like the way that you just told that story was like it happened yesterday.
Yeah, it felt like it,
You know,
definitely.
like
And
it's
yeah,
huge,
I
like it's a
mean,
big thing.
yeah. And so that's the thing is like something like that completely changes you. I
Yeah.
mean, I've always wanted to do something of purpose. I've always wanted to, like when I was younger, I actually wanted to be a counselor and help people. But I met Father Chris Riley, the youth off the streets,
No.
the most incredible man who would go and save kids that are homeless or on the
Oh,
street.
wow.
And he was incredible. And I talked to him and I said, I would love to do what you do. And he says, don't.
Oh.
Everybody burns out. Everybody burns out. And
Yeah.
he
It
said,
would be the hardest. That would be a very difficult
yeah.
job.
Well, he said to me, I've got a 12-year-old who's pregnant right now. Do you think you could handle dealing with that? And I was thinking, well, I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
wow.
so there was always this hope in my heart that someday I would be kinder. I've always wanted to be kinder on the earth, do something of purpose. And I think that's probably why the graphic design just didn't work for me, right?
Yeah.
It just wasn't.
Or the law.
Or the law. Definitely not the law. Yeah. And so it was, so then it was a question once things sort of settled down. Gosh, how do I do this?
Yeah.
Because
how am I going to raise that $55,000, right?
yeah. So I'm in my heart thinking, okay, I'm loving, I did 2 weekend classes with this amazing watercolor artist called Josephia Lemon, who's a beautiful lady. And it was just like 3-hour classes. One was a still life and it was just painting a mushroom.
Mhm.
And I thought, you know what? I really like this. I think I'll just paint. And then I thought to myself, okay, but paint what? Because I need to make money from this. Like let's be under no illusions. Being an artist is not lucrative in the normal, like the general storyline is artists are poor and they live in the gutter because nobody gives them money. So I had to really think, okay, how am I going to do this? And so I went and I did a little test out. I thought maybe fashion illustration or something like that. And so have you ever heard of Froctober? Which is, so during Froctober for the ovarian cancer research, I thought, you know what? Instead of wearing a dress every day and getting people to donate, I will do a painting of someone in their, an important dress, send it to them, and they will donate to the, ovarian cancer research. I was painting every day for 2 effing months.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But also it was really key. That was another pivot, was realizing, okay, you know what? I am not good at this because dealing with so many different people and, some are gorgeous, some are hard, some are very fussy, some are, and even though they knew I was doing it for charity, some of them were just plain way too demanding, right? And I thought to myself, you know what? That mushroom didn't talk back to me. I love that mushroom. Maybe I'll do a still life. So then I thought, you know what, I am just going to, so I did a couple of small ones.
Yeah.
And then I said to my husband, you know what, I might just do a really big canvas, and just to practice, I'll enter it into an art prize and just see if it takes me anywhere. And he goes, yeah, darling, amazing. And I have the boys would always come to the canvas and say, Mummy, that looks great. Mummy, what's that? And then my husband comes behind me and says, darling, that's incredible. Oh, you're doing such a great job. This is amazing. So I have, like this little unit of cheerleaders who were healing me slowly from being told, oh, you're not good enough and all this kind of stuff, and just telling me, yeah, go for it. And so I enter this art competition. I do this still life, and it's massive, and I get in and I'm thinking, what just happened?
You're like, what? Oh my God. You're like, really?
Yeah. Huh? And then suddenly I was a professional artist, and I thought, okay, if this is happening, all right, let's make this happen. And so then I get into another two.
And how long ago was this?
2022.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So then I get into 2 more prizes because I'm like throwing art at whoever,
like,
wherever it sticks, guys, just take it. And then, so I get into something with Frankie Magazine, Good Stuff Awards. Yeah, and then I get into, I think it was Kangaroo Valley, and then the other one was National Contemporary Art Prize. And so I've got 3 under my belt, and I'm thinking, okay, I don't know what to do about this.
Hey, I'm an artist now.
Yeah. So then I get this amazing art mentor who's now a dear friend, and she's no longer in the industry because the industry is weird. It's a tough industry, very exploitative of artists, let's just say. And so I have this mentor who knows the whole shebang and educate. And I said, okay, I have 0 time. I've got kids, so I have to be super targeted. This is my aim. I need to get $55,000 at the end of my life. How do I get there? Can we work towards it? And she was amazing because she said, let's do X, Y, Z, enter this. So she told me which competitions to enter and, stuff that, because, I knew that I'm building up a resume to have something tangible on the resume so that the artwork has value. And so she was building up, that for me. And then I, did my first solo within a year, and that was, sold out. And
that's a solo art show?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was, at that stage, not really that known yet. And then so it was just about doing the hard yards. And I was thinking, okay, this is the long game. I have to work on making my art more valuable so that I don't have to create so much because I'm so slow. I had to make them more expensive in order to reach that 5,000. Because the thing is, you have to make money. And so I donate 1 painting every year.
Mhm.
and then I donate 15% of all my profits to Westmead
Okay.
because still need to eat as well as
Yeah. I mean, it
donate,
does that. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, have to support myself. And so then it just, then I blew up on Instagram with one reel, and it was like
And was it the
incredible.
balloons?
Yeah, it was the balloons. It was fantastic because it was a reel that was showing like my whole collection. It wasn't just one painting.
Yeah.
So it just brought like within a week, I think it was, 15,000 people. And I was thinking,
Wow.
whoa. Yeah, it was insane, insane. And it was wonderful. And because then you have like this new audience that want to buy, right? But I'm so slow. But
Yeah.
it was great because then, you have these people that are very invested in you and your story and then,
Get
I found that
fangirls like me that are like, oh my God, I need the balloons.
yeah,
One day.
yeah.
One day.
And so the balloons of like this story behind it and the reason why I do it is because I wanted to paint balloons just to see if I could do it. And then I was playing Lego with my little one and they had deflated and I thought, man, I didn't get there in time. And then I thought, hey, actually, you know what? That's how I feel. I feel deflated.
Oh,
but
wow.
but I also have to keep going, right? So it's all about, so the first one was called Stay Afloat, the first one that I ever did. That's the whole meaning behind it is all about trying to find the silver lining, which is why I did your podcast, because you
Oh,
said rose-colored glasses.
I love this so much.
Yeah, but that's why I thought for sure I'll do it because you're searching for what I'm searching for, which is
Yeah.
looking at life in a better way. And yeah, so that's why I do the balloons is because it's constantly searching for the silver lining, even though life can throw some pretty horrific things your way and how to cope with that. Yeah, so then that really struck a chord, and so the sky is representative of life and how it's not predictable and it's always changing. So you just have to make do with whatever gets thrown your way and try and make the best of it. And so there's a whole symbolic narrative behind it. And yeah, so that's why I primarily do that. But I love painting other things
Yeah.
too. But it's what people most identify with. I think because it's so, maybe when I'm painting it, it's truly who I am and how I feel.
Yeah.
But I suppose that's with everything though. That's
Yeah,
how
but
I'm
you
feeling.
can get so invested into it, right? Like you can get so focused. And I think like,
Yeah.
on your Instagram, you can see when you paint, like that's it. You're wholly 100% focused on doing that thing.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely, if you see me being really prolific, it's probably because some major shit's going down.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, if you see me, and that's the thing is, I
Therapy.
often when I meet certain artists who say, you're just so, how do you do it? You're so prolific. And I just don't have an adequate answer for that because they think it's ambition, but it's not. I deeply need it. If I do
Yeah.
not do it, the panic attacks come back.
Yeah.
If I don't create, I feel lost. The panic and worry. I'm constantly in a state of anxiety about my kids and
Yeah.
are they okay? Same with my husband, because you just know how easy it is to lose the things that you love. And so it's walk a thin line of incredible gratitude, but also terror at the
Yeah.
potential
Isn't
to
that,
lose,
yeah. That's
right?
such a fine line, isn't it? Because you're like, I love you, I love you, I love you so much, but don't leave
And
me.
I'm
Don't.
scared that I love you
Yeah.
so much
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
because I don't want to lose you. Yeah. And so, knowing that the little one has surgery coming up inevitably again is like this is why I have to create to just get that energy back to keep going, because he needs me. The art is so deeply needed. And so
Yeah.
where all that other stuff, the supposed success, the winning the awards, the doing all these things, they almost mean nothing to me.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm very, very grateful for
It's
it
just
because
like
it's
the
helping.
sprinkles on top, isn't it? Like it's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's helping me. It definitely is helping me to get to my end goal. And I have had some incredible, extraordinary things happen along the way and incredibly generous people that have worked with me along the way to get me to the point. And look, I am halfway.
I was about
From
to ask,
20
where are we at? Yeah.
We're just over halfway, which is insane for an artist. But
Yeah.
it has been in large part the people that have helped me along the way that have pushed this to happen. And probably a fair, like, can I tell you the story of where the fair chunk of that money came from?
Yes.
Was from this amazing human being called Emily Calandrelli, who won't hear this either because she's such a busy person, but I love you, Emily. And she was the 100th woman in space. She just drops a casual DM in my Instagram.
This is such a fascinating
And
story.
yeah. And she says to me, how would you feel if I took some of your art to space? And it doesn't have to be anything new because I know that, you know, you don't have much time on your hands, but anything. I will take anything there. And I just thought, what on earth?
Yeah.
I said,
wow, what?
And I said to her, this is way too special. I am going to paint something for you. And so I do a painting for her and she takes it to space and I said to her, this is, and I said,
It's
she said,
not
how much?
a normal conversation. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
And she said to me, can you tell me how much? And I just said, this is too special. Can you donate to Westmead Children's Hospital, you know, whatever you want for this painting? I don't care how much it is, but if you can donate, because I feel like this is way bigger than me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to financially profit from this because it doesn't feel right. And then she said, okay. And then she ends up at the end donating way more than what it was valued at. And then she says to me, you know what? You should do prints. You should do prints and sell them. And I said, okay, I would like to do prints, yeah, and then just donate 100% to Westmead. And then I thought, she's in America. This is not fair. I said, I would love you to donate half. So she chose a charity. I chose a charity.
Okay.
And then
beautiful.
Yeah. And then ended up like raising 30 grand from that.
Oh my God.
You know, over 30 grand. Yeah. And then I've got another lady, can't talk about it yet, but she is an icon. I don't know how this happened, but she put her hand up and she said, okay, if you ever want some help, I am here. And I'm like, do you want to do something with me? And so we're going to do something. And when you see it, you're going to be, she is like the coolest person. And
oh my God, I'm so excited to find out what that is.
Well, yeah, I don't know how. And this is the thing. It's the people that you meet along the way. And then on top of that, in the background, so I have two printers, one in Australia, one in the US. And the one in Australia, like, they're this business called Southern Boy, and Micah is the boss, and he's like an angel. Like, he just says to me, okay, Chili, you want to do this? I'm on board. Just let me talk with my partner, and they decide 40% off, like, every print so that I can donate as much as possible. I mean, how do these people come across your path? I don't know. I don't know.
What you're putting out there though, right? Like, you've created this for yourself.
But yeah, it's like something that I never thought like I would have to work so hard for.
Yeah.
These people have come into my life and just said, let me help you. And I just think,
and it's such a weird feeling when people just want to help you.
Oh my God, yes. And such good people. Like, Emily has a massive platform, and she is, I worked with her. She is the real deal. She is genuinely kind, and you can look at her parents and they're the same. There's nothing manufactured about her. She's just like fully a decent person. And what a gift to meet people like that, right?
Yeah, 100%. Such a beautiful experience
because some people have an ulterior motive.
Yeah.
And you can spot it a mile away, and it's a little bit repulsive.
Doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't feel good. But then you meet those people that just, wow, you are not only inspiring, but you're also a good human being. Like, what?
I am genuinely feeling that about this conversation, to be perfectly honest. I'm like in awe right now. I'm just
my God.
Oh.
Rachel, that's so nice. That's so nice.
I'm just like, I've like felt like all warm and fuzzy like the whole time we've been talking.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. Yeah. But it's just, I feel like somebody's guiding me almost to get there.
I
I
love
don't
that
know.
even from the very get-go, even though you were like, "Okay, I'm gonna do a law degree for my parents," you were like, "No, I still need to do that creative arts." And
Yeah.
now I imagine your parents are like, "Whoa, okay." I mean, maybe it was
Oh,
a good
yeah,
idea. How do they feel
yeah.
about your aunt now?
Look, Dad's pretty sick now, so he's
No.
got cancer, so he's very they've always been proud, but yeah, I think they were always incredibly nervous.
Yeah.
But when I started, I think they were okay when I did the graphic design and they could see that I was freelancing and
Yeah.
all on my own and doing well. And so and that again, like even in that journey. So I'm working in a studio and one of my clients who is a director of a film company, distribution company, she says to me, you know what? I think you could do this on your own. And I said, I don't have any equipment. I don't have the money. And she buys everything. She buys my computer, all my
Oh my
software, all
god.
this. Yeah. And she says to me, and I said to her, thank you for offering. There's no regular income. I need regular income. I have rent. So
Yeah.
that's when she said to me, you know what? I will pay you a regular amount to design movie posters. And so it was in like, how do these people come into your path?
Yeah.
People that decide, you know what? I believe in you. I'm going to make this all happen for you. And everything's going to be okay. All of your worries, let me fix it for you.
And
I'm
it's
thoroughly,
unbelievable. Like,
yeah,
but it's
yeah,
truly believe though it's about the energy that you put into the universe, right? Like if you're sitting there going, "This is hard. My life is hard. Everything's hard." All of these things, like it will be, right? Of course it is. Life's hard, but if you like instead, like you're sitting in the NICU unit holding a very little person that's just had surgery, and you're like, I'm gonna donate $55,000. Like that's not a thought that a lot of people have.
but I think for me, it's when I'm sitting in hopelessness, I'm always trying to search for, okay, how do I get myself out of this?
Yeah,
And this is the thing is like the when I was in and out of hospital with my little one, when we were going through so much hell, all I focused on was, okay, you know what I'm looking forward to is taking him to go fruit shopping. I'm going to take him
beautiful.
to Harris Farm. I don't know if you know Harris
I
Farm,
love
but
Harris
it's like
Farm. Yeah,
fruit market. I was
yeah.
thinking, I'm going to take him to Harris Farm. I'm going to have him in my carrier and I'm going to show him all the colors. I'm going to let him touch all the fruit and all the veggies. We're going to have the best time ever. And I focused on that. I hyper focused on that every single time. Like when he's in so much massive pain, I was like, close my eyes and I'm like thinking about Harris Farm.
Yeah, but that's huge though, right? Like that's
Yeah.
like this it's wiring your brain to think that that's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I tell you, going to Harris Farm that first time, I was crying my guts out, just like
Everyone at Harris
putting
Farm
his
was like,
little
"What is
hand on the,
happening here?"
yeah, but happy tears, obviously. But,
Yeah.
you know, it made me, I realized how disconnected from the real world I was because, you know, I was in the schoolyard after going to Harris Farm on, you know, I think we'd been going for a month by then, but I was still enjoying it deeply, deeply, deeply. And I'm waiting for my eldest in the schoolyard, and there's these two women that were clearly career women. I think one was a psychologist, the other one was a writer, and amazing women. And they were both chatting very animatedly, and then they turned to me and they go, "Oh, what did you do today?" And I'm like, "He's hanging off my belly, seriously." And I said, "Oh, I went to Harris Farm today." And I was
Oh.
looking at the fruit and veggies. These women looked at me and went, and they just turned away.
They were like, "I don't know how to respond to that."
They said, "You're not a part of our conversation." And this is great. Like this is a part of why I deliberately try and create a kind space in Instagram because you just don't know what people are going through.
No, not at all.
And I feel so deeply like in Mother's Day, I sent a message out there. I don't know if many read it, but and it did resonate with some women, but everybody's normally scrolling. But I said, look, if you feel judged for where you are, don't, because what you're doing is amazing. If all you did was get up and look
Yeah.
after your child, then that was an incredibly successful day.
Yeah.
Right. And so to me, all of that career stuff, everything that's happened, I'm deeply grateful for it. But my God, just the fact that we're all here is a massive blessing in my mind,
So
is a
beautiful.
massive success in my mind, you know?
And so that's what success is now, right?
Yeah.
Has
Success
that
is,
changed for you? Obviously. Definitely sounds like it has.
yeah. Well, you know, when I was younger, I did have this objective. I thought, you know, all I need to do is find one thing to make me smile in the day, and it's a good day.
That's beautiful.
And I've still kept that, you know, but it's even more magnified in that I have raised a sharp focus on what's important now to me.
Mm.
And, you know, this whole art stuff is such a gift in the sense that it eases my anxiety in a massive way. And
Yeah.
it's also opened doors to help me get $55,000. But at the end of the day, my God, can I tell you one story about my son? So
Yeah.
this is my eldest. So he suffers from massive anxiety. And at the end of the year, you know how there's those school concerts where your kid goes up and you have to watch them do a song and then they get off stage and
Sing a Christmas carol, do their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my son has crippling stage fright. And so
Poor darling.
every year he would, you know, first he was in the middle, started crying. They took him off the stage. Then each year it was like torture where he would leave early. And in year 5, he managed like maybe three lyrics and then he got off. And I said, you know what? That's a massive win. I met him at the back. I said, that's a massive win. And you're shaking. I can see it. But be so proud of yourself because you got up there. I don't care for how long you did it. And it's very easy. It would have been easy for me to say to him, you know, okay, you can check out, stay home. I was deeply tempted to do that and just keep him home because I felt it's torture watching your child suffer. But I kept sending him. Then in year 6, graduating class, and I'm watching him, and I don't know if you know the Shakira song, Try Everything.
Yes, I love that song.
My God. So he's up there. He does the whole song. I am weeping. I'm watching him and like I'm watching him do the hand movements and he's singing, I won't give up and I won't give in. And I've realized, I realized anything I do in my life, this is true success. Just to watch him have the courage and
so
bloody
beautiful.
Succeed, right?
Yeah.
I watched him and I thought, nothing I do in my life will top this. Nothing. Because you see this kid who has something that is really crippling.
Yeah.
And he just kept going and kept trying until that last moment. And I said to him this morning, do you mind if I tell Rachel this story? Because that's the definition of success to me, is seeing my child live, just live.
This so much.
You know? And it's the same with my husband, just watching him just be an amazing human being and achieve. It was the same with my mum, and my sister was, you know, ever since my sister's like one of those child prodigies. She was second in the state of the HSC, right? She became a doctor, and I remember that like she won every single award, and I'm there just going, oh my God, my sister is like a superhero. And afterwards, everyone was saying, I would hate to be you. I would hate that so much. And I was thinking, why?
She's amazing.
But they thought that I would compare myself to her, but I've never had that in my mind of thinking, you know, why do you have something that I don't? If you want something, just work for it.
Just go.
100%. Just do it.
You can still, you could be the doctor and get all the awards if you wanted to. Like you've shown that you could do law, and you can do art, and you can do baking, and you can do super mumming.
No, I definitely couldn't be a doctor. I don't quite have the mental capacity for it or the smarts. But you know what I mean?
I don't know if I could be like my brain doesn't work in that way though. That's why I'm a lawyer.
No. But I suppose it's all just to say that success to me is, you know, watching my loved ones do well. Watching them be healthy. And I don't know if that sounds really boring.
No, that's real though. That to me is real. Yeah. That's a real version of success. It's not like I want to work in a waterfront office and drive a $1 billion car and have a $1 billion mortgage, and like that's not. is that really like, and this is what this whole podcast is about. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. And thank you
Oh,
for
my
sharing your
pleasure.
story. It's unbelievable. From like law school to sending space to art, sending art to space, like unbelievable. Unbelievable. Such a cool
Oh,
story.
well, it's I think it's probably a cool story because I'm old. So
You're
I've done
not
a lot.
old though. She says she's old, everybody. She's really not old. Like
Yeah.
but it's just unbelievable. Like, but I think that's the reality of experience though, right? Is that your experience teaches you that what's important. And
Yeah.
you kind of have to experience some stuff to realize actually this is important and that's important, but not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, that there's like things in my life that are so important to me is to be a voice for others. Now that I have a bit of a small platform, I suppose, is understanding that my voice can be used for good if I can. So I want to make sure that I leave the world a kinder place. So that's an objective that I have just in the general sense. Like, I have this need to try and answer every comment because it's so crazy. I'm always thinking, what is that person going through right now? I have to make sure that I reply back.
And you do reply back because I've been stalking you for a while.
Thank you. Thank you for stalking me.
Thank you for stalking me.
But yeah, I think that's the thing is like at the end of your life, you really want to just be remembered as, okay, that person was kind.
Yeah.
That's it,
And I think along the way, if you make an impact, like a positive impact, then that's just, again, the sprinkles on top.
I hope so. Well,
Beautiful.
keep trying.
Well, we have been talking for a while,
A little
and
bit.
I still have a job that I probably should go and do.
What a shame.
Yeah, I know. Give me time. You
You'll
are
get
my
there.
1, 2, 3, fourth guest. So we're very early days of the podcast. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here again.
Pleasure. My pleasure.
I'm going to turn the recording off. So that was Chilu, everyone. I'll link all your bits to, and is there a link that we can get as well to donate to Westmead? Or do we donate to?
That's well, I'm going to be launching another thing to raise money for them.
Awesome.
But if you go to there is the Heart Centre or the Sydney Children's Hospital Foundation is where you go to donate.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the money, guys, I know that it's very hard at the moment, but if you can donate to them, I would love it. Thank you. But no pressure.
We may as well try and get, even if it's a little bit, right? $5 here or there, $10, $10,000.
Well, there's something coming up soon.
Cool.
There's something coming up soon where you can get something and we'll donate everything to Westmead. So if you wanted to hold on for that too.
Well, I can hold on for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you again for being here. I'm going to turn off the recording, but don't leave because it's got to upload and do its thing.
Okay.
Yay. Oh my God. That was such an amazing episode. So that was Chilu. Chilu is an artist, and I'm going to put all of the links down below. Oh, I cannot tell you how just great I feel after that. That was just such an empowering, inspiring episode. Like, I knew she was amazing, but even more amazing than I could have imagined how great that was. So thank you, Chilu. Thank you. And thank you for being here on the podcast. Thank you for listening. I'll see you on the next episode.